What's up, guys? Welcome back to Barefoot Bonsai. I just wanted to give you a little tour around the immediate area around the backyard, just because it's such a beautiful morning today. This is my red spruce Yamadori. This was harvested early spring. We're talking probably beginning of March. And it's just, I love the movement in the trunk. This is all natural. It's never been wired or anything. I just found this like in a bog and just loved the shape of it and everything, and it came right out, and the roots were huge on this thing too because it was just struggling to stay up. So over here is my rhododendron. If you guys have been following the channel or Instagram or anything, you know about this guy. This is the one we call Big Guy, and it's because of that nice chunky trunk on the rhododendron. But this just got pruned up. No wiring yet on this guy. This is his second year. He's probably about 4 years old, but this is his second year in training. So still no wiring on him. And just tons and tons of bee balm everywhere. Echinacea, columbine. Here's some more of our coleus that we grow. That we need to get in. Here's some of the red spruce. When I did a couple of cuttings, I put it in this pot, and it's actually growing pretty well. This pot was, there was an Oregon grape in there that we found, and it is dead. So I'm using that to grow some spruce. Now this guy, I forget what this one was, but I absolutely loved it. There is not a lot of root on it, but I think it is doing kind of okay in here. I'm keeping it wet because I found this in a mossy, wet area, so I'm just trying to mimic the conditions, and hopefully we'll get something out of that because it's just such a cool looking stump. That thing's dead. I don't remember what that was. This is a 9-bark here. So this was our library was giving away trees early in the spring. Oh, there's a little slug. It's giving away trees, and this was one of them, and it was just this little red stick like that. And look at all the new growth just this spring on this guy. Really beautiful. He is not even close to starting his training process, all spindly like this, so we're going to be trimming them down and getting them back to bonsai shape. Here's some little maple trees popping up over here. Tons of rocks. That was from my rock video, the last one here. I love this thing. This is a honeysuckle, and this was another Yamadori, and it finally started its training this year. So you see some of the wiring on these nice young branches, and there's a little conifer popping up over there. I think that's actually a ground pine. But yeah, so nice deadwood on here. Once I get this thing refined and starting to grow a little more, I think that's going to be a really cool tree. This was my semi-tanuki maple, and I call it semi-tanuki because typically tanuki, you use the live vein in a conifer and cut it so that it meshes with the piece of deadwood. But this obviously is a deciduous tree. This is a Norway maple. Which is what we have a lot of here, and so I work a lot with them, but I really like the way that this thing is coming along. I'm hoping that it will eventually fill that hole in the wood and kind of make it look like it's part of that. This is my nightshade here. I have 2 of them. This is the larger one, and it's in a pot this year for the first time. It's about 4 years old, and it's in a pot for the first time this year, and I'm working on this sort of semi-cascade look and seeing if I can't, here's the plan at least, I'm trying to thicken up the trunk over here by having this downward force on it. So by pushing this, or having it by gravity, pushing it down, I'm hoping that it will stress out this part enough to try to thicken up the trunk a little bit down there, just to compensate for the weight. But also I love the composition of it too, where you have this coming up and then the long shoot coming out, but it all still has this sort of canopy shape to it when you look at it entirely. That's what's fun about bonsai, is you can just kind of, you know, make some cool shapes and whatever. And this thing has had very minimal pruning and absolutely no wire training at all, and it's just really pretty. I got one more on the table over here. This is a Norway maple, and this one is about, I would say, between 5 and 6 years old. But this is only its second year in a pot, and I'm already getting leaf reduction with it, which is great, especially with Norway maples, because they have massive leaves. They're like the size of my hand, and this thing is reducing really well. You can see it's kind of not loving life entirely, but you know, that's not my doing. That is just, it just doesn't, I don't know, it's not really digging the pot, but eventually it will. I might actually defoliate it this year, but I want to see how it's growing first. But you can see where I made the initial large cut there when I found the tree a couple of years ago. But I love that view. This view, like, it could be a few different fronts for this tree. Unfortunately, I think that's the best look, and you don't really get the trunk movement in that view. So it might end up being here, and I might just need to wire over. I haven't done any wiring on it yet. Like I said, it's only a second year in the pot, but I think it'll do really well. So that's it for right here on the immediate back porch. I'll do another one going back into the yard, because we have a lot going on back here. So thank you guys for watching. God bless, and stay green.